Greetings, family. Welcome to Clear Thinking with Brother Dulani. In episode 43 of Clear Thinking, we are discussing aid to Africa, or so-called aid to Africa. We're looking at the whole idea of charity giving, so-called, contributing to Africa development. We're going to examine this situation. Over the last, say, 50, 60 years, from in the 1970s to now, the Western world claimed that they have given, over $2 trillion in wealth to Africa. However, what they don't tell you is during that period of time, they have extracted probably over 200 trillion in wealth from Africa. I'm going to give you an example. According to the reports done by various organizations who have been examining how these corporations and governments and so-called philanthropic organizations has been contributing, pushing so-called resources into Africa in terms of financing, in terms of loan, in terms of remittance into Africa. It is estimated that annually they are pumping $162 billion into Africa. But what they don't tell you is that they are extracting over $203 billion in Africa, from Africa, into the West. And most of it has been money that they are repatriating money, they're moving their profit out of Africa back into the West. Some of it is moving illegally by way of bank haven or tax haven, where they go and stash their money through bribery, through corruption, through illegal or illicit activity, where they can shield, hide, and move that money and resources out of Africa in the tune of over $43 billion a year, over $40 billion a year they are actually moving out of Africa. So don't let them fool us or fool you, my people, when you hear they talk about aid going into Africa. And I want to thank my sister for bringing this subject to me and asking me to address it. A very beautiful sister by the name of B. Honey, better known or also known as Sister Wynn, a priestess in our community, serving our community for many years. She said to me, Brother Dulani, touch on the issue of aid to Africa. And I just want to touch on these issues, that these companies, these people, they are extracting tremendous amount of wealth out of Africa and claiming that they are pumping aid into Africa, pumping aid to assist Africa. What they're doing, they assist themselves in looting the wealth out of Africa. What they're pumping in to Africa is to assist in the extraction of the wealth and the resources, a lot of the natural resources in Africa. If you look, for instance, in South Africa alone, there is a estimate over $7 trillion in mineral resources in South Africa. In the Congo, for instance, there's it's estimated that there are over $24 trillion in wealth, trillion dollars in wealth in the Congo alone. Not to mention the crude oil, the diamonds and gold all over Africa, and many other resources. Even in the fisheries around Africa and in Africa, they are moving to try to extract this wealth out of Africa. So make no mistake about it, my people. These people are on a path of looting. They're on a path of extracting. They're on a path of exploiting. They're nothing but bounty hunters, bargain hunters, coming into Africa, pretending to be our savior, pretending to be the savior of African people. However, it's all about profit making. It's a capitalist adventure, and wrapped around in benevolence, wrapped around in moral speaking and pontification. The genuine development of Africa have to come from African people's hand. And you know, I'm going to give you a little thing to add to that little piece there about what them said. Them putting like 162 trillion into billion. Sorry, 162 billion into Africa. A great portion of that, you know, is actually remittance from African in the diaspora who are living abroad, who are sending money back home. So you really can't include that. So the money where them say them are contribute is less than the 162 billion. You know, see, a great portion of that is actually African living abroad, sending in Africa. But importantly, what is taken out of Africa? $203 billion a year that they're extracting out of Africa. Some of it blatant illegal. Me even hear report we're playing a land in a Congo, in the country side of Congo. Them create airstrip and landing plane, picking up their things where them go to pick up and fly back out with no check, no border check, no immigration check. And it's a come in, extract and go. Some of it is just that blatant. You understand? But a great portion of it is done in sophisticated schemes and sophisticated conspiracy where a lot of people is involved in the food chain, and all of them have one thing in common: they are looting Africa of the great wealth of Africa. You know, see it. So I am pushing this message to inform our people, to raise our consciousness about these type of activities that's taking place. So when you hear them coming about with aid, be on your guard. Now, I want to address a particular part of this aid thing that linked to overall damage that's been done to our people. Because all of it has to be seen in the context of imperialism, capitalism, and neocolonialism. So I don't want to miss that point, that this is no more than the continuation of the exploitation of African people. We have taken moving away from a direct colonial rule to more of neo-colonial rule, where the same process, the same extraction of wealth is taking place. Now, there is a sinister part of this so-called charity into Africa and all these NGOs, these non-governmental organizations that are operating in Africa. Some of them like Oxfam and Save the Children, and some of the Water One them, and Wildlife and all them little things there. So listen what them do, my brother, my sister and brother, my people. There is an issue with the identity of African people and the imagery that is coming out of Africa. Now, back in the 80s, I was acutely aware that the images that I was receiving as a young youth were very negative images coming out of Africa, where you see African babies with swell belly, flies around their face, crying, looking very, looking very bad. You know what I'm saying? The imagery was not pleasant to look at. And my people, those images have been around for a long time. But you know what I find very, how should I say it? What I find the most sinister about the usage of those images to raise money, for so-called send money back into Africa. They was pushing these images on the Cartoon Network, where children, well, innocent young children, who are formulating their ideas about the world from these programs, watching the cartoon, they go to commercial, and then you show these little pictures of children in Africa suffering and bawling and crying for hunger, asking the viewers to give you, asking little children, But what they're not realizing, or maybe they are intentionally doing it, is that they are painting a picture of those people to those little babies. So as they grow up, their vision of Africa is the image that they see of African children and African people living in poverty, suffering, some in the war-torn area, some drink dirty water, flies, and it is a very grotesque image, a serious caricature of African life. And it has painted this negative image of Africa in the minds of young African children around the world who are viewing this. And it feeds into this self-hate that African children develop over time. And you hear them grow up talk about they don't want to be associated with Africa. And I remember in my days as well, they had Tarzan. And Tarzan used to go into Africa and beat up every African, and just one man does a kick way and thump down and just destroy every African nation of people that he visited, and just beat them up, control all the animals. I remember say African been in Africa for hundreds of thousands of years, and we can't talk to Africa, to animal, and talk to the nature and make nature bow down. But this white man can go Africa and him have all his power, and he make African look simple and weak. So nobody wanted to be associated with those people. And it's the same thing, compound that now with these images that's been broadcasted doing the commercial where they're showing all the children their favorite cartoon of African children with a bang belly and you know, flies all over them and looking decrepit, and some of them are drink dirty water. It was a very sick image. So you know, you see a big movement now growing in America where there's a lot of self-hating taking place. And in many other parts of the world, it affects Jamaica and the Caribbean too, because you still have Jamaica down there. They don't want to be affiliated with Africa because of the same programming that took place. And also with the colonial education system that program the children to believe that they are responsible, that Africans are responsible for their own enslavement. It reinforced that. And compound with all that, you create a formula for self-hatred that we are trying to combat in our liberation struggle, in our Pan-African liberation struggle, to try to correct this imbalance. And we give thanks for the images coming out of Africa now with a lot of the YouTubers them who showing Africa in its real dynamics, in its real life. You can see that they are normal, ordinary people trying to survive, trying to make sense of their life. And we love that, you know, see it. And look, the image of Africa is changing, and many of our people now is coming around and embracing the African self. Well, thanks to this new media age, this age of information, where we can get this. But the important thing of this message is that through the use of these aid organizations, these charity organizations, pushing these images, some of them images are 40 and 50 years old, you know, and them still push them today. Them people, some of them people born and turned grandparents, and them picture they was taken from them a picnic baby, 5 and 7 and 8-year-old babies, them big people, and them still push the image, because those images have been very effective in for them to raise money. And on top of that, you know, if they raise $1, you know, they might take 90 cents, you know, in administration fee, and only like 10 cents to reach Africa, if that much reach. So for every 100 them draw, they might take $90 out of that and send $10 down there. You know, see, so it's all a big business for a lot of these corporations and these NGOs. Many of the executives are making hundreds of thousands a year in salaries to run these organizations. So don't get it twisted. It's all a business for them. You know, see it. So I just want to get that across. Say, beware of these reports you hear about them giving to Africa and how they are coming to help Africa and how they're coming to invest in Africa. They're coming to invest in getting wealth out. Invest in how to extract wealth. They are bounty hunters. They are bargain hunters. They're coming to seek profit. So be under no illusion. We have to hold those neo-colonial government accountable to their people, that we're going to watch every contract that's been signed and demand that African people get the best benefit from these contracts. That's it. And ensure that the wealth is reinvested in Africa. The profit is reinvested in Africa. And make sure that there's proper taxation regime in place so they don't escape. And put laws in place to check to keep bribery in check, to keep corruption in check. I see it. To demand these colonial government to at least try to honor some integrity, some kind of laws on the books to protect our people from blatant exploitation. Even though we know in the long run we have to dislodge those neo-colonial governments. You see, we need the liberation of our people and our lands, and we need to be in control. The people them who are righteous, the people them who are about the ancestral business, people are about the best interests of the people. They are the one we should back. They're the one who should be in power, who deal with developing the children of Africa, developing the resources of Africa, pushing the best of African culture and the best of science and technology to empower our children and empower our people to grow themselves, to build up them business. And every time we do any type of relationship with other people and other companies and other countries, is always have to be done where it's going to be a mutual benefit to our people and not a one-way extraction. We have to start to process some of our own raw material. We have to start building our own tools and our own mechanic shop where we can repair our own goods, and we can repair our own equipment, and we can create the tools to repair as well. So we don't have to be really dependent on other people. We can become self-sufficient in some of the industry them. And our eventual goal is to become self-sufficient in all our areas of human activities. Self-sufficient in our food production, self-sufficient in our technological development. You see, we can't depend on other people because they're going to always come in trying to exploit us and get the best out of us. And this go for all of the African countries them. And if you know, you've been listening to this podcast, I said the African countries them are the Caribbean countries them, the so-called Caribbean. We want to rename it Afrobean. And the same with Central and South American country who self-identify as African, who want to be a part of the African world. We need to impose strict condition upon the neo-colonial government them to do the best for the people, to hold them to the fire. Any existing law to deal with integrity, any existing law to deal with anti-corruption, we have to hold them accountable and insist that they pass laws to protect our children, to protect our elders, to provide better housing, to make sure food, clothing, and shelter is available to our people, and quality education is available to our people. We have to train our people to be the best that they can be, and to know, say, our goal is to replace capitalism and imperialism, and to replace it with a strong African foundation, a better system based on African jurisprudence, based on Mahat, based on Ubuntu, based on the best of African customs and African culture. That's what we want to establish, our own African jurisprudence, where we create laws based on our own history and our own culture, not based on imposition of these political systems and economic systems from abroad. Particularly, it's capitalism and imperialism. We have to keep those systems in check, because we know, say, our ultimate goal is for the development of our people. The ultimate goal of capitalism is for a handful of people to become super rich, while the vast majority are dependent. The vast majority are fighting for crumbs. We can't keep maintaining that system. We born comes to the system, and unfortunately we have to take the time to maneuver ourselves so we can gain traction amongst our people. The consciousness of our people have to be raised to know that this is not they are normalizing this type of behavior. They're normalizing this type of system for us to think that this is normal. This is not normal, my people. It don't have to be this way. This is the way they want us to think, that it have to be this way. We can have a better system where all of us can benefit. All our children can go to the best school. See, and we can implement the solution that we know that our people need to develop themselves. Many of our social scientists have already done the research. They know what is needed. We just need to get control of the resources, get control of the political system where we can implement the solution that we already know exists. Many of our great writers and authors and researchers and scholars have done the research. They see what needs to be done. We know what needs to be done. But because the imperialists, the capitalists are so powerful, they have entrenched themselves with a strong military force and a strong financial system that they can cripple us individually. They can just cut off access to market. They can cut off access to capital and cut we off and wound we overnight. You see, so we can't really move too dramatic if we don't want to upset our people and unbalance and create chaos. So we have to do this in a systematic way. You see, we have to follow how them doing it in the Sahel. You know, see it. They do it as a collective. If one country go, them all take him out. You have to go as a collective. You know, see, many countries have decided to move together. You know, see it as a collective, and we stand and protect with people and put the people first. You know, see it. So yes, my people, so beware of these forces that come talk about charity, talk about their NGOs, talking about they're coming to invest and talking about they're coming to pour so-called money into Africa and provide finance into Africa and loan into Africa. It's nothing more than a means of exploitation. And the same goes for our Chinese brothers and our Russian people, you know, and the Chinese investors. We have to be careful when we use the word brother, you know, see. But those people who are coming from the East, who are coming to do joint ventures with us, we have to hold them to the same standard. We have to hold them. We have to make sure they are credible and make sure that they, whatever contract we write, they are implementing it according to the T, and we hold them accountable. You know, see, so there's no free ride. We can't ease upon nobody, unfortunately. But we're going to go with the partnership that is beneficial and better for us. We know that Europe and America have had over almost 400 or 500 years of foothold into Africa. And what have they done? Nothing. Look what happened in Botswana over there, when we get to understand, say. Look how long Britain have been in Botswana. Not even one university they're not building a Botswana. Now see, you know what the Botswanan people them do? Everybody came together and donated one cow. Every family out of the population come and donate one cow, and them slaughter the cow them and sell them and take the money and build them first university. And what day me I watch Wadamaya and them a feature the wall where them put up all the name of the people living in the country who donated one cow, one cattle toward the building of the university. And that university today is providing free education to the people them of Botswana. My people, that's what you call Pan-Africanism. That's what you call self-determination. You see it? So we have to go where the best partnership is, where the best solution is for us. And I see it. We can't allow the Western world to come preach to us and go on like they want to moralize and want to pick our partners for us. We must can pick our own partners, pick the best deal for us. You know, see it. And right now, we are working with the East, because the East are giving a better deal than the people them in the West. They have had their chance, and all they did was exploit us and leave nothing behind. Exploited. Not to mention the enslavement of our people. You know, see it. Even though the Arab them in the East to them in slavery, but you know, we are work with around them. You know, see, we know so some of them down in East Africa, they know do them thing, you know, but we have to watch them. Because them also have to pay reparation for the damage and the extraction that they have done, and the exploitation and the brutality that they have done in East Africa. So make no mistake about it. We will hold everybody accountable when we get in a position of strength and power. Then we can implement the solution that we need as African people. You know, see it. So just keep those things in mind, my people. It's the consciousness of our people need to raise to the level to understand, say, the way things are is not the way they should be. And they will not remain this way forever. You see, there's a matter of time to realize the wealth that's been created belongs to us. Our ancestors have paid the ultimate price, the ultimate sacrifice, so we can inherit a better life. And these people are coming in and they are benefiting it. They are benefiting from it. They are the ones who are reaping the vast majority of the wealth is going into the hands of a few, when it should be the hands of the many. It should be the vast population that are benefiting. We should first of all eliminate poverty, eliminate homelessness, eliminate any type of want in the society, and everybody are thrive to be their best, their full potential. Are educated to go in a society, solve the problem of the society, and we all can grow together. There's enough wealth for everybody can benefit. Everybody can build a nice house. Everybody can have ambition and pursue it. We don't have to run away, go somewhere else. As soon as we get a good education, as soon as we get a good skill, we run, say we want to go to America, we want to go to Europe, we want to go all over the world. We need to be able to build up our African world first and foremost. You know, see it. And we can feel happy and prosperous no matter where we are. It is possible, my people. Don't let these people fool you that this can only be done through capitalist exploitation, through exploiting your brothers and sisters. Don't make them tell you that you have to be a capitalist in order for you to be prosperous. That is a fallacy. That you have to step on your brother and step on your sister in order to be successful. Don't fall for that. We are better than that. We have Ubuntu. And that's why we have to base our philosophy, our political philosophy on Ubuntu. And we have Mahat as a system that can ground us. And we have our social scientists, them who master this thing to the levels. We bring them on board and say, listen, man, we need to design a system for the benefit of African people, from African people, by African people. You know, see, and in harmony with everybody else in the world. Because we want peace too. We don't want a world where we're constantly at war. You know, see, we want everybody to live in peace, everybody to live in love, but we need to have fairness. The wealth of this world needs to be redistributed. The damage that's been done by the Western world and some of them from the East need to be repaired. A lot of damage, a lot of reparation is needed in this world if we are to have justice. And I'm a voice of justice. I'm an advocate of reparation. You know, see, and the Pan-African reparationist movement of a great movement that can lead to a planet repair, a repaired planet. Know that, but it cannot be done through charity. It cannot be done through so-called donation. It has to be done through nation building. You know, see, so yes, my African family, big up yourself. It's all about, you know, Pan-Africanism. It's all about doing for self. It's all about holding the neo-colonial government them accountable. It's all about keeping the capitalist system in check, keeping an eye on the contract them in our country, keeping an eye on the NGOs them in our country, keeping an eye on all so-called organization and things that taking place in our country, and using pretty words and beautiful words. Be careful of them. You know, see it. We have to keep an eye on them. You know, see it. So yes, man, we have to organize and centralize and keep the fire blazing. We have to keep this thing going. No, say, our liberation is in our hand, and we have to keep living, keep taking care of our children, keep taking care of our grand people them, our elders them, making sure that they are safe and secure. So thank you very much for listening to Clear Thinking with Brother Dulani. This has been episode 43, and I want to thank you very much, my people. I want to implore you to subscribe to this program. I've been doing now 43 podcasts, but no one know I really exist. I want to help me get the message out. Help me reach a lot of more people with more of these honest and historical and political analysis of our situation. So help me, my people. Subscribe to the program. Help me to push it out. Seeing? Give thanks, my people. One love. Walk good, my people. In my heart, Ubuntu. Ashe.